with Assisting Hands, and I'm really happy to have you all here. I'm going to share my screen so we can get started, so I can show you what we've been doing this week, and then we'll get into the shout out for the week. Let me get this started. As always, I have my technical difficulties getting all this stuff going. All right, so big week at Assisting Hands. I actually had more things to put in the first few slides, so I just selected some of the real highlights. So first, I want to welcome some of our newest star caregivers, Erica and Tina. They just completed orientation. We're still doing the social distancing thing in both orientation and we take our pictures. If you all remember back last fall, I used to get a whole group of us, we take a big selfie. We're not doing that anymore. STAR, again, stands for Setting Targets and Achieving Results. We have a really great incentive program that pays cash incentives for them when they do their awesome work. So we're excited for both Erica and Tina, and I think we probably have them on cases already. So welcome to Assisting Hands. The other thing is, this morning I actually was over at Everly Short Pump. It's an active adult community that is about to open up. They had their vendor fair in honor of National Senior Citizens Day. So I forgot to take pictures. So I took one picture. It's of my little table I had. You can see the little gift basket we had there. I will tell you, I got totally busted. I show up carrying that gift basket. And if you all know Mary Catherine Colbert, she said, "Hey, Eric, nice to see you. I'm glad your wife was able to put together that gift basket." So she totally knew that I do not have the capabilities of doing that. So anyway, it was a great event. It was great to be outside. We were socially distanced, but it was just great energy. It was great to see a lot of the future residents. They were excited about their new apartments, and it was great to see everybody. All right, the other thing is, right after I left that, I drove back to my office and I got in on a virtual presentation. So Micah Hunt, many of you probably know who he is, has been organizing these virtual presentations Fridays, and he's had an incredible lineup of presenters. Well, he really got, one of my personal professional heroes, and that's Teepa Snow, was on today. So Teepa did an hour long of her thing. It was just brilliant. I was just talking to my shout out guest, who we'll talk to in a second, about it. And she just has an amazing way of describing everything. And I just wanted to show you, I took a little screen grab. I was actually in the Zoom box right above Teepa, and Micah's right there. So I thought that was just really interesting, but it was a really good event put on by Micah. So thankful that Teepa took the time. I know her time is in demand. If you guys follow me on Facebook, I'm always sharing and reposting a lot of her stuff. And as you know, we have some dementia workshops based on her teaching and program. So anyway, great. So it was a great week, busy week with a lot of good stuff. All right, so now we're into our shout out for the week. So I'm going to bring on, I'm going to stop sharing so I can bring up and introduce, hey, Ann. So why don't you take yourself off mute so you can say hi.
Hello.
Everybody. This is Ann, and she's with Bremo Pharmacy. I'm going to share the screen again so we can kind of walk through some things. So Ann, I just want to thank you for taking the time to come on, and I'd love for you to introduce yourself and kind of talk to me about your role at Bremo, and then we'll talk to more specifics about Bremo.
All right, Eric, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. My name is Ann Anderson. I do marketing for Bremo Pharmacy. I am a pharmacist, however, I don't practice, and I haven't practiced in years, but I worked too daggone hard to get that license, so I'm not going to let it go. But I was fortunate enough to stay in with my kids for a number of years, and now I've come back to do marketing for Bremo.
Great. All right. So, I think, Ann, I met you very early on in kind of when I was working with Assisting Hands. I think I met you at a networking event. And so I just love for you, and I've enjoyed getting to know you and learning more about Bremo, but what sets Bremo apart from maybe some of the other pharmacies that the rest of us are probably more familiar with?
Bremo is definitely a different pharmacy in the fact that if you've never been in there, don't come to us if you're looking for groceries or beach toys or school supplies or magazines, because you're not going to find that in Bremo. But what you will find is all healthcare related items. And things to help patients get better, live independently in their homes. Those are the kind of things that you're going to find in Bremo Pharmacy, as well as a caring staff that wants to get to know you and customize and personalize the treatment and the things that you're looking for. You're also going to find a family-owned pharmacy. Bremo has been in Richmond since 1976. And many people are thrown by the name Bremo, and we're not on Bremo Road anymore. We started in St. Mary's in 1976 by Dan Herbert, and then moved to some different locations, but ultimately now we're on Staples Mill, close to Staples Mill and Broad, and it's run by his daughter, Catherine Carey, still with the same vision and ethics that Dan started this company with back in 1976.
Yeah, and Ann, I know that I've shared my story about my shared values with you, and I think that was one of the first things we connected about. You mentioned the values of the pharmacy, the company, but that coming from the family, and that I think is obviously very important to me. So that was something that's always stood out when I've thought about Bremo. So. And
the 10 core values of Bremo Pharmacy are very important to Catherine, and that's what we use to make decisions on. That's how that's how the company is run, based on the core values of Bremo Pharmacy. Our mission statement is what guides and directs us, and that's making sure that our patients are getting well. Those are the things that guide and direct Bremo Pharmacy.
That's great. All right, well, good. So here's a question for me, because I think this is definitely, I see this when Bremo is described, but what is exactly a compounding pharmacy?
Oh, a compounding pharmacy. And yes, it's not in our name, but it is one of the main things that we do. Compounding is basically a way to turn medications into forms that are more easily taken by somebody if they're having a difficult time taking a medication. For example, if you have ever tried to give a pill to a cat, you know how hard that is. It is so much easier to rub a medication into their ear than it is to fight those claws as you try to force a pill down a cat's throat. Or if you are a caregiver and you're taking care of a patient who has dementia, and you have to crush up tablets and give them a tablet and applesauce for every single meal, and that patient doesn't want to eat applesauce for every single meal, then it becomes a battle over applesauce. When it really isn't a battle over applesauce, that patient wants to maintain their dignity and not have to be treated like a child. We can take those tablets and turn them into liquids, possibly turn them into a topical, so the patient doesn't realize that they don't have to, they don't have to take their pills in applesauce. They can take it as a liquid. They can take it as a topical, and it makes giving medication easier for the caregiver. It helps the patient maintain their dignity, makes it easier for them to swallow their pills. So those are some practical applications of compounding.
Yeah.
There's also some applications if products are not commercially available. We can take the raw ingredients and make that medication, or if someone has an allergy to gluten or certain dyes or lactose, we can take those raw ingredients and make the medication, leaving those ingredients out so they can take medication. If someone has texture issues, we can make a medication that works with whatever their texture issues are or taste preferences. Just compounding truly customizes medications for patients so that they can take their medication. It's basically what it boils down to. And Bremo has a state-of-the-art compounding lab. We just invested a lot of money and have a state-of-the-art accredited compounding lab so that quality and safety are at the forefront of everything that we do in our compounding lab.
That's awesome. The other thing, and one of the things that we discussed earlier, and you effectively have helped us solve a problem in our home care, is as a home care provider in the Commonwealth of Virginia, we are not allowed to administer medication. We can remind on medication, et cetera, but we can't actually administer it. And I remember early on, you basically, these pill packs you provided for us, and I don't know if everybody can see them. So this is not actual medication. Ann didn't load me up with a bunch of pills. I think it's Tic Tacs and Red Hots is what I got here. So
Just look on the back, and everything is
Yeah.
labeled exactly what's in each bubble. So
Yeah.
it should be. So
So, but the nice thing about these come individually packaged. You can see, if you can see this, it has the date, the the day, the time of day, or whatever. And our caregivers, can actually peel these back, and then the client can take them. And so this is a really great solution, and I go back to compounding is what, it feels like you guys are saying, look, you're not just going to be forced to the yellow bottle with the white cap, and that's the way you get it no matter what is the best way for the patient or the person who needs the medication to receive it that's easy for them, so they're making sure they get their medication. So I love this. And by the way, you deliver these for free, right?
we package those for free and we deliver them for free. Exactly. Whether it's
awesome.
with one of our delivery drivers, we've got 4 delivery drivers, and whether it's in our delivery area or whether it's throughout the state of Virginia, and we will utilize UPS and ship at no cost.
That's awesome.
And that packaging doesn't cost either. And in looking for that packaging for my in-laws who live elsewhere, I found the fact that we don't charge for that packaging is quite unusual. But
Wow.
basically it does come down to customizing, and that's what compounding can do, is customize therapy. And just like the packaging, the bubble packaging that you just showed, we customize to what's going to work best for that patient and for a caregiver.
That's awesome. All right. So, I mean, I think it's probably everybody talks about this. In, one thing I found during COVID-19, people have obviously had to adapt new ways to do business. So, if you could just talk to me a little bit about how Bremo has adapted their business during the current pandemic.
Well, we have implemented curbside delivery, which a number of people have done also. But we will take our vaccines out to the parking lot. We'll take any kind of injections that patients need to get out to the parking lot, but we do curbside delivery. We have really stepped up our delivery, as we've always done deliveries of medications anyway, but we have really stepped up delivery in order to help people to stay at home, because certainly a lot of our population is at risk. So we're trying to help people stay at home. We also have an online store. So if people need to access COVID supplies or CBD or some over-the-counter things, they can order those through our online store and either come by and pick them up through curbside, or we can send them through our delivery methods. We also have a very regimented cleaning protocol that is in place in the pharmacy. Certainly hand washing has always been an integral part of what we do. Those in the compounding lab already wear PPE, as we are a USP 800 compliant pharmacy dealing with hazardous products. So she's always been gowned up in PPE, but we all have got a regimented cleaning protocol of the workstations within the pharmacy, as well as our patient areas, both for the protection of our patients as well as our staff.
That's awesome.
We're doing some telehealth also. So if patients can't get to us, we can do it through telehealth, and we'll continue doing that once COVID is over as well.
Well, that's great. And, I appreciate the diligence you all put in place. And, from what you were saying is you're already used to dealing with, I guess, elements that can be dangerous to people, be it pharmaceuticals or whatever. And sounds like you've expanded that ability to handle hazardous materials to dealing with COVID-19. And I think that's great. And, I feel, I love hearing about that, because, we all need to know that we're protected these days. So,
well, and if patients need face shields or face masks, that kind of thing, we've got those things. And early on, when hand sanitizer was in such short supply, we were compounding hand sanitizer to get that out to people.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, in March, I was having a hard time finding masks, and I remember driving up curbside to Bremo, and you guys had masks for me. So, I mean, it's just crazy. So that, that's another thing. You all have PPE, and you all have had it, I think, pretty consistently throughout this whole time.
And thermometers too. So
yes.
We've got those also. And we're
Perfect.
checking, the other thing we're doing, we're still checking our employees' temperature twice a day. So we're not letting up when it comes to making sure that we are COVID conscious and people are staying safe.
Great. Well, good. anything else, any events that you all are having or programs you're having here in the near future that you'd like to let people know about?
We are doing virtual. We've got Ideal Protein seminars. That is our 3-phase medically managed weight loss program. And I say medically managed because it's only done in pharmacies or physicians' offices. It's not going to be a mass marketed weight loss program. But there are seminars that are being done virtually that you can find through our website. That is on the screen now, bremorx.com, on the calendar, and you can sign up for those. And that's an important thing to do now, because they are finding that if people have got obese or their BMI puts them in the category of being obese, if you become infected with COVID, you are at a higher risk for worse outcomes, hospitalizations, ICU admissions, being put on a ventilator. So good time to look at losing weight if you need to lose weight. With Bremo, you get a one-on-one health coach, and you burn fat, and then learn how to maintain that weight loss and have a healthy lifestyle.
Awesome.
But those are what we have going on right now. We have had a virtual seminar on CBD and have plans for doing that, as well as BHRT seminars that are planned. I do not have dates for that right now, but if we're followed on bremorx.com on our Facebook page, people can find out when those are coming up.
Great. Yeah. And if you get those, when you get those, I'll post them on my Facebook page as well. So okay. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to wrap up with a few quick items here. So last Friday, I talked about, we did our very first virtual dementia workshop. We have another one scheduled. We're doing it in conjunction with Brookdale Midlothian Assisted Living Community. So our next one's going to be Thursday, September 10th at 10 a.m. It's going to be on the GEMS. The GEMS is a TPA Snow developed way of describing the various stages of dementia, but it really goes on beyond describing the stages of dementia and talks about their abilities and how best to interact with the people that are in the different GEM stages. And I love the fact that it's GEMs, you know, diamonds, sapphires, rubies are used to describe the different stages, because the message being there, these are precious gems, and we should be, you know, very respectful and, you know, recognize their inherent value. So Kathy Hamlin will be leading those. I'll be putting out some more information with a Zoom registration link, and we'll also do it on Facebook Live. So that, again, September 10th, 10 a.m., the GEMS, led by Kathy Hamlin, along with the good folks at Brookdale Midlothian. And then the last thing I wanted to cover, and I'm going to keep on plugging this all the way to October 31st, is the Walk to End Alzheimer's. I've formed a team for Assisting Hands Richmond. I'd love for you to join my team, but more importantly, join a team. And, you know, we certainly will take donations. If you have any interest in joining or making a donation, let me know. I periodically put things out on my Facebook page that make it very easy to do that. It is going to be a virtual walk. Normally, I think people gather down at like the raceway or whatever, but it's virtual where you walk, and we'll try to do that as a team, whatever guidelines we need to kind of stay safe. But the Alzheimer's Association has put together a really good virtual platform that we're all going to be able to participate in a opening ceremony and a kickoff, and then you're going to be able to track our walks, and they're going to ask us to send pictures. And so they're doing all these things to bring us all together virtually as if we were actually together in person. So it's great. And not to spoil the surprise, but next Friday, my shout out guest is Katie Hood from the Alzheimer's Association, and she'll be able to talk a little bit more about that. So anyway, that is everything we got. Again, I'm Eric Rohr, Assisting Hands, and our goal is to help you remain happy and at home. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope everybody has a great weekend, and talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.